Okay, so we're going to go ahead and connect to server one. I guess. Or do you want to do it from the client machine? Where do you want to work from? Jared says he's already got server one, so we'll work from server one. Oh no. Okay. So I got the right servers. We're the Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. So we got Monday, server one up and going. The server manager is up and going. And what do we have installed in the server manager here? Do you have print services? Are you missing print services? My password's going to expire. No, it's not. I'm going to fix that first. How would I fix that? I'm the admin. What would I do? What would you do? You don't want the password to ever expire again. You'd what? So, yeah, Active Directory users and computers is where I would go. Then where would I go? I'm logged in as administrator. I go find the administrator account, right? What would I do with the admin account? All right, click to get properties. In the account tab. Password never expires. Yep. Good job, Jonathan. That's the steps that I would take, and I would suggest y'all do that because we probably all installed at the same time, and everybody's probably going to have a password expiring in the next 2 days, which will be on Friday. And we don't want passwords to be different. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close down Active Directory users and computers. But hopefully all of you have been able to do that or will do that and set your password to never expire. If you did not have, I'm not going to be able to talk today. If you did not have print services in your server manager, you might possibly need to add that in by going into manage, add roles and features, and clicking through selecting server one because that's where you want the graphical tools to be installed to manage remote print servers. So selecting server one as the server to install the tools on because that's the one you're logged into, and going down to features, skipping roles. You don't need roles selected, but going down to features and opening up your remote administration tools and making sure that you have print and document services tools selected and installed. And I said, if you followed other previous labs, you have that already. But if you have it missing, that's what you would do to install it. But I suspect most of you would have already had that installed onto your system. I'm going to cancel mine. And I hope everybody has the, yeah, I think we've got the roles and stuff installed on server 3. We should anyway.
What all in the printing and document services are supposed to be installed? Because I just have the print server installed.
Yep, that's all.
Oh, okay. Dang it, me and the right clicks, they're getting on my nerves. I keep like fat fingering the right click.
So if I click on print and document services, what does it show me? Server 3. Everybody should get that when you click on print and document services. You should only have server 3 listed, but it should be there because server 3 is the member server. It's the one that we installed the print server role to. Is that server 1? Oh, so you somehow installed the role service on server 1 instead of server 3. So you'll need to go in and add role and add it to server 3. Let's see what role service is that. Well, I think Andrew showed it on his screen when I brought it up there. You need the print and document services, the print server installed. Although I think Andrew may have been showing me on his server 1. You should not have that on server 1. After you get the print server installed on server 3, you'll want to go back and remove the role and take that role off of server 1.
Yeah, I realized when you said that it's supposed to be on server 3 that I installed it on the wrong thing. So I'm now installing it on server 3 and
yeah, you're not the only one. So if server 1 has print and document services, you need to uncheck that on server 1 and remove it. Server 1 shouldn't really have much of anything. Active Directory, DNS, file server role, storage services is it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You should only have 4 things installed on server 1. It's a domain controller, so other services can cause issues. Slow down. Gremlins. That was a scary movie when I was little. And I figured out it was actually a comedy when I got older. And now I'm like, yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Okay, so print servers are pretty important. In security class, we've seen where that there's a hardware vulnerability for USB. If you remember that, and companies filter out and shut down USB ports on company computers. So plugging printers, print devices directly into client machines is normally, I mean, it's a thing for small companies, but you get into larger companies, it's not normal to do that because, you know, of your security, turning off USB access, so you can't plug a print device up. So they purchase printers that are network printers. They've got IP addresses and things, and have the clients print to them. Typically, printing directly to a print device is good at your house. You typically got maybe one laptop or two, and you can print directly to it. At companies, though, sometimes you have several people that are accessing the same print device. And I've run into problems where multiple people trying to send a quick print at the same time, it would lock up the print device. I've seen that over the last 20 years. And the problem with that is print devices typically, unless it's a big copy machine that's got an internal hard drive, the handle and queue, and got its own print server running internally, they can only handle like one job at a time. You send too much to it, and there's not enough RAM or capacity on the print device, and it'll just lock it up, and then you got to go restart the thing. I've had a place where I had to go restart the printer about every 2.5 hours. Between 2.5, 3 hours, it would lock up, and you get phone calls like, "Hey, it stopped printing again." That gets annoying when you're trying to do something else and get something else fixed. So I got to realizing how that they had the printing set up. This was a place that somebody else had already set everything up, and they had it where everybody was printing directly to the IP address of the print device. And that did not work. So best practice is anything connected to the network to share it off of a centralized server, because the Windows, it has a big hard drive. We're supposed to have a decent sized hard drive, and people send the print jobs, the server collects it, puts it in the queue. And remember, the queue is the holding place, so it waits for the print device to get done before it sends the next job. And that way it doesn't get overloaded by 15 people clicking print at once at the end of an English class. That's where you really get into the into the lockup. Is we got lab situations, people's writing up a memo or something, everybody gets done about the same time, and they all click print for the last 5 minutes of class, and the thing locks up. And that's the purpose of print devices. So share everything off a print server. Print server, I've seen people put about 50 to 100 printers on them before that they start another print server. So they can handle quite a few print devices from what that I've witnessed. This was like big hospitals and stuff that I've seen, and like every single room that had a print device in it, it was a network printer, and it was all shared. So they had 4 print servers for, I don't know just how many it was. And they were probably over 100 printers per print server. Probably about 200 printers per print server. And they had 4 servers. So yeah, they probably had about 800 print devices. That's a lot of printing. But big hospitals and stuff got lots of things. Okay, let's go to the tools menu. And you'll find print management. Cool. Print management. It already says we have some printers. What are they?
The printers are a device that allows you to print papers and any kind of document that the computer tells it to.
And I said, what are these?
Oh, I thought you were asking what a printer was. My bad.
No. So we got a couple of software ones, one to print a PDF file. That's kind of cool. You ever make your own PDF files by just going file print? Anybody? No? Jonathan says maybe. What? So XPS files, those are mostly just formatted for sending to a print device.
I have 4 printers. Is that normal or am I only supposed to have 2?
Does everybody have the 7?
I have 5.
You had 4, maybe because you removed it off of server 1 and it just hasn't reloaded, refreshed. You didn't. They'll probably disappear after a while. Everybody else is having 5. I'm really confused where these 2 came from. Y'all don't have those 2, do you? Why? Why would I have those? Some old driver dates. That's really interesting because I'm pretty sure that right there is the printer that's shared off of my computer. I have internal networking, so the internal networking can communicate with my host machine. My host machine is running on the 10.10 network. I think that's probably where it just picked it up and go, oh, hey, there's a printer out there, and just automatically put those. That's a little bit interesting. I don't know why it only said print server 1. What does yours say under print servers? If I said server 1, well, server 1's not really a print server. We didn't even install that. I can't remove it, can I? Nope. But I can add remove a server. Go and add remove a server and add server 3. Another cool thing about this tool, you can add in all of your print servers that you have and manage them from one spot. Centralized networking, cool stuff. Let's check out the drivers. Are there any drivers on print server 3? No. No forms, no ports, no printers. Makes sense. We haven't installed one yet. Okay, you've got some for some reason. Already then. That's okay. Those look like just defaults. Nope, look. Wait, that's still you. Thought mine closed down. Okay, interesting. It's Microsoft randomness. Let's deploy out a print. Whoa, it says it's down. I have a down on mine. That's not cool. Maybe a firewall issue. I'm going to go ahead and try to add a printer. Real hard to add a printer. What would you think? What would you do if you had wanted to add a printer? Right click and add printer on the printer's icon. Yep. We'll go ahead and right click on the printers and click add printer. Network printer installation wizard cannot launch. Make sure that the print spooler service on the server is running and available to client computers. Did anybody get that? So I've heard some yeses. Okay, if yours worked, then you don't need to do the troubleshooting steps we're about to do. It looks like most of everybody's didn't work. So I'm going to do some checking, firewall rule checking, and I'm also going to check the print spooler service to make sure that it is operational. I'm going to minimize my print management tool, and I'm going to open up a PowerShell on server 3. You remember one of the commands that I told you on Monday, how to restart the print spooler service? That's going to be my first shotgunning approach here to try to fix it, is to restart the print spooler service. So those are the commands I gave you on Monday. That was the net space stop space spooler.
Wait, what directory are you in? Are you in just root, or are you in the one that it's in the documents root?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So it says my spooler service is not started. Okay, that makes sense. It's not started. So I'm going to net start spooler. And it can't start. Interesting. I'm on server 3. It won't start because, and then I can't. Okay, I'll check the firewall next. Getting that firewall rule. Then try to do a net start spooler. You're not on server 3 though. Yeah, you got to right click server 3 and connect PowerShell. Which I thought, isn't that what you did? So I'm going to select the display group and enabled. Y'all remember that command or not? I'm going to see Everything is enabled and true on mine. So I'm not seeing issues yet. Last thing, I'm going to use a graphical tool, computer management, and see if I can see something there on why it's not starting. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I mean, I've seen printing issues, but not for LAN class. Normally a fresh install, it just connects and works. So with the graphical tool, it says it could possibly be disabled. So there's the print spooler service. I'm going to double click. The startup type for some reason is disabled. I don't understand why it's disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to automatic and hit apply. That appeared to be the problem. So my troubleshooting steps. Attempt my net stop spooler command. The net start spooler command didn't work. And it did tell me that it could possibly be disabled. And I double checked the firewall, everything was open. So I was like, well, it's probably disabled. I went and looked, it was disabled. It was a get dash net firewall rule. And then you had to pipe it to a select. And you had to view display name and comma enabled. And that show all of your firewall stuff. But the firewalls should not be your problem. Did your new printer wizard not work? I think you're on local. You need to change to server 3. Did you right click server 3 and open computer management? Yep. Make sure you start it. Okay, so I've enabled my print spooler service and I went ahead and started the print spooler service. So that right there, for some reason was a problem. Now, Jared's was all working. And Jared's is what I've run into in the past where it just worked. I don't know what the rest of us did differently. Something weird, but the print spooler service is now running. That should allow me to go back to my print management window, and the little red down arrow beside server 3 is no longer present. And that's a good sign.
Is there a way I can enlarge your screen for Zoom so that way it can be more accessible for me? Or is it just that little mini box?
It should be able to go full screen.
Well, I'm trying to have it a little bit larger because it's really hard to see as it's like really tiny, and I was just wondering if I could like.
There's also the magnifier tool in your Windows that might help. Okay, I think everybody looks like they're back at the add a printer on server 3. That looks a lot better. Right click add printer. And now you should have the network printer installation wizard on server 3. So look at the title bar of your wizard and make sure it says on server 3 and doesn't say on server 1. Oh, did you start the service? Yeah, but did you click start? You had to do 2 steps. You had to change it automatic and then click start. Yeah, it's the arrow at the bottom. Open that up and you'll have services. Now it'll work. Okay, on this screen, we can search for network printers. That's normally ones that's already shared out on a network file print server somewhere. So I wouldn't want to do that. You can also scan for just TCP/IP printers too on the network and find them. You can add one by IP address or host name. And it would actually need to be a live printer that Windows could communicate with and determine what type of print device it was and load the drivers for it. We could add one using a local port on the server, or we could create a new port. Probably one of the most common ones would be creating a new port. A new local port, I think. Yeah, we'll go next. That's not what I want to do. It's a little bit different. They don't have. Okay. It's a little bit different from an older dialog box. I should remember this from last year, but when you got 30 years of printer dialog boxes in your head. So let's add one with TCP or web service and click next. We'll be wanting to not automatically detect, but it's going to be a TCP/IP device. Don't auto detect the print driver to use because we don't actually have a print driver. Some of the older dialog boxes, you'd go down and you'd create a new port, and instead of local, it would have local, and then underneath it would have TCP/IP port, and you click on that, and it'd create a new TCP/IP port and bring this dialog box up. So they've changed the wizard a little bit on the versions. Host name. Let's put in 10.10. I don't know, 10.10. Sounds good to me. Bunch of 10s. We'll go next. Maybe. Let me make sure there's nothing actually there. I don't think there is. Oh, that's not good. Oh, we're running on a 192 network. That's why. Well, yeah. Yeah, let's just leave it at 10, 10, 10, 10. See what happens. Go next. Thought I checked, unchecked, try to detect. I may have to use the 192 number. It may just epically fail here. Windows XP search. Did XP have a little magnifying glass actually move around though?
Yeah.
Okay. Did yours not search? It just went next. Did you install the cumulative patches on your system? Maybe you didn't have installed the cumulative patches. I don't know. When we used PowerShell and mounted the drive. I don't know why yours is being different. Yours is actually working closer to what it's done in the past. I don't know why the rest of us are. Okay, so you can pick what type of network card it is that is plugged into the print device. We have an imaginary one, so let's pick on HP Jet Direct, because we're going to pretend like we're installing a Hewlett Packard printer. And we'll click next. And it's going to continue to try to identify this device. Come on, we're in a lab situation. We're just pretending. Just make it. It should. Your HP Jet Direct card is probably your most common card type, because most businesses will use Hewlett Packard printers. I think mine just failed. It just quit. That's what I was expecting. Is that dialog box right there? Did mine just go to the background? Oh, there it is. You may need Alt Tab and get that to come up. Apparently that went to the background. Can you Alt Tab it? Yep, okay. It looks like everybody's getting to there. Now that's what I was expecting to come up next, is it was not able to determine the print device because, well, one doesn't exist. We're doing this for pretend. Bless you. And we're going to install a new driver. So click next. And there's Brother, Canon, Dell, Eastman Kodak. We're going to go down here to Hewlett Packard. And we're going to scroll down. And get past color laser jets. We'll get down to the laser jets. Design jet. Desk jets. NV laser jets. Here we go, laser jets. Let's install laser jet 2300. I believe I want a 2300 or 4000 series, a little bit more of a business class printer. That's an old printer, but let's go ahead and install the 4200, 4300 PCL6 class driver. I've seen lots of clients use those. They are getting quite old. They've been workhorses though. We still see people running those 15, 20 years later. Let's go next. Print name. Typically the print name, you want to give it something, you'll have some type of naming convention you use for your printers. You'll have some type of policy for that. What do we want to name this printer? DR 101, doctor's printer 101. I've been talking about hospitals. Share the printer. I don't think I want that to be the share name. That's an obnoxiously long share name. I thought of main 5, nurses station 3. I mean the 5th floor of the hospital, nurses station 3. Sounded good to me. I'm making all this stuff up as I go in the head. It's like, hey, that's where the Mr. Rogers crowd. That's good. Anybody watch Mr. Rogers? Everybody's like, yep. Okay.
No, I never seen it.
I'm gonna go next. And next again. And it will install that onto the server. I'm not going to print a test page. I'm not going to add another printer at this time. I'm just going to hit finish. So we've got the printer installed. You've probably installed a printer in the past. You may not have used this particular tool to install a printer. You've probably done it locally. And Windows 10 has their new Windows 10 interface, so it's different for installing printers, but still, that's the general steps to create a printer. We're here at 8:50, so let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll look at features and stuff, driver types and things on this printer that we just installed.
I am now offended. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually offended.
Okay, so let's log back in to our server. And we should have our DR 101 printer. Let's go ahead and look at the properties of that printer. So there's just the general information about it. I'm going to move over to sharing tab. There's a share name. I typically like to list it in the directory. If you list it in the directory, people can search for it. by name using the Windows, search feature, and it will pop up and they'll be able to find it faster and easier if you list it in the directory. We'll move over to ports. So there's the standard TCP/IP port number that it's on. It's good to figure out the MAC address of the print device and do a DHCP server reservation on that. So every time the printer comes on, it can be using its default IP configuration on the print device. And the DHCP server will always give it the same IP address. That way you can easily have it typed in here. You don't have to worry about trying to configure a static address on the print device. Move over to advanced. We'll talk about the advanced stuff at a later point today or Friday. Security. Who can print to the device? Everyone. And there's the device settings. So look under the drivers tab now. Well, there's my driver. Everybody see it? If I scroll all the way to the right, it's an XPS driver. It says true. XPS drivers are supposed to be a universal style driver. They support 32-bit clients and 64-bit clients. It's also called a Type 4 driver. So those type of drivers, you can have one installed and your Windows 10 32-bit, Windows 7 32-bit, stuff like that. They can connect to the print server, use that driver, and they can send print jobs. Those are great. If you're dealing with some really old print devices that have Type 3 drivers, those type of drivers are architecturally sensitive. So if you have 32 and 64-bit clients, you have to go into the print device itself and go under properties, go under sharing, and on the sharing tab, you see this part is grayed out. That's because it's a Type 4 driver. It supports 32 and 64-bit. But if you don't have that, this section right here would not be grayed out. And you have to install additional driver, meaning you'd have to get to the manufacturer's website and download both the 64-bit, 32-bit drivers, extract them into a folder, and then you have to hit the add additional drivers and add whichever one you needed here. Otherwise, your client machines connecting to the shared printer will pop up a dialog box to, like, where's the driver at? And you'd have to go have administrative rights to download and install it into the system, which is quite cumbersome to end users. But that's kind of a historical thing. I'm hoping that you won't run into that, although you might. Those print devices are probably already set up, maybe configured that way. So anything new that should be deploying is hopefully a newer print device. They've got the Type 4 driver that this dialog box is grayed out, so you don't have to worry with that. So it's a good thing, but that is just the thought that you run into like a couple machines install and work fine and a couple don't, then you might look, is 132-bit, is 164-bit. Check that you have all the drivers installed for all the operating system versions and architectures. Let's do the next real simple thing and really cool thing that I like about print management and the new group policy stuff. You can deploy a printer out really easy, a couple of different ways. One of them is through group policy through this tool. Simply right-clicking the shared printer that you just created and click on deploy with group policy. Does everybody see that? I'm going to go and click deploy with group policy. It shows me the print server name. I can browse for a group policy object, so I can click browse. Okay. And once I've clicked browse and get past that little warning, should why is it not showing me all the stuff? It should show a group policy right there. It should allow me to see there we go. I just canceled and clicked browse again. That's what I was looking to see. That's that you should be able to see all of the organizational units that you have out there that you can apply a group policy to. So if yours didn't show up, just cancel that dialog box and click browse again and see if it shows.
It didn't for me.
Maybe click sites and all sites and then cancel and browse again. Okay, so now you're showing some stuff. Apparently you don't have other organizational units created. Did you not create a John Doe account and an employees OU?
I don't remember, honestly. That was so long ago. I don't remember.
Well, I'm going to pick on employees. Yes. So you've clicked on like each one of these and canceled and browsed again. Just had to do it several times. I've never had, I know there are little transient errors going on through here. Never had that error before. So I'm going to click on employees. And I'm going to click new. You see the little sheet with the gold star on it? That created it in the wrong spot. Can I delete that? Delete. Because we don't have rights now. I can delete that through the other tool. So I'm going to double click employees. Okay, double click employees. Now I'll click the create new, and I'll just do this like DR 101 printer. And click OK. So I'm creating a brand new group policy by double clicking employees organizational units and then giving it a group policy name and then clicking OK. That will select the group policy and then clicking the check boxes and clicking the add button. You have to click the add button because clicking OK does not actually edit the group policy and deploy it. There is this second step that's really, really easy to forget, that you're just like, yeah, browse, click, okay, I'm done. No, you have to hit add before you hit okay. And they have to show up that the configuration has been pushed into the policy. So that actually edits the policy when you click add. So once you click OK, okay, it deployed. Maybe. I'm going to try again. I'm going to right click deploy group policy. I'm going to browse. I'm going to pick that printer. I'm going to check my DNS servers. I'm going to ping. Everything's resolving right. Don't know. I've never seen that before. Almost acting like maybe there's the group policy is gone again. Why is Contoast.com with a weird symbol on the end of it? Wow. Yeah, we're crashing and burning here. So I've not ever seen that. Okay, so all the quirkiness with group policy not wanting to work, I'm just restarting server 1. That's a troubleshooting step. We made sure the times were correct. DNS server seemed like it had all the right IP addresses and stuff in it. So the trusty reboot. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Probably Zoom hacked in. Probably what happened. Check something else. I'm using 27 gig of RAM. That's a lot of RAM utilization. It just doesn't seem like that would add up to 27 gig right there. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It's like, where's my Hyper-V stuff? Is it being hidden in Task Manager? Yeah, it's not showing me all the RAM. Okay, so my server restarted. I'm going to go back into the print management. I'm going to try to redeploy it again. Oh, now it found. I don't understand what is going on. So that's a new one. I'm going to resume recording. So what I found, I did an ipconfig / display DNS, and the system's trying to connect, but it's adding a couple of stray ASCII characters on the end of where it's trying to resolve the information. And I don't know why that is happening. Let me check server 2. See if server 2 has any of the same issues. Yep. So it too is trying to resolve with a weird naming convention. So is that the tools themselves trying to resolve that bad name, or is there something? I think I see anything. Okay, so I think I found out enough information to maybe try to Google. Why are the tools trying to add that extra 2 characters on the end? So yeah, it's definitely a Monday. Anybody else having anything like that, or is everybody else is working? You bring the German hackers in, Sean? I can't even right click now. Whoop. Still coming up odd. I have one other theory, my SSD drive's dying.